Tech Talk Tuesday, number 87. I have a little bit of stuff to tell you guys today. I'm going to share, let me show you the screen so you can see. Here we go. Turn it to board. Tech Talk Tuesday, number 87. Yeah, that's 13 weeks away from 100 episodes. Hey, Ricky. Hey, Chuck. How you guys doing? I got a good little crowd joining up. I appreciate you guys clicking in. Hey, Matt and Stephen. It was cool. Last week I was telling y'all about how many Steve Johnsons I know. I think I met another one. And none of them are near the same thing. They're all really different. I knew a Steve Johnson that played for the Dallas Cowboys, and he owns a lot of really cool land up there by Bristol on the Virginia and Tennessee land, Virginia and Tennessee and North Carolina. Yep. Hey, Mike. Hey, Ricky. Mark. Charlie. What's up there, Cow Chip? Hey, Cow Chip. Stephen. Wow, look at you. My stick shift Fairlane man. Look at there. There's no A after the SSD. That means he got 3 pedals. 3 pedals rule, man. 3 pedals. Hey, Ron. It's my buddy, Juan. Good to see your names on here. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, my sock deal started South Georgia Technical College when I was on the board of directors at South Georgia Technical College. They gave us some socks one day that had the logo, and I liked them so much that ever since that day I've been wearing logo socks. So I got some cool stuff in case anybody ever wondered about the weird deals there. How's Tennessee treating you? It's really good. Hey, Nat and George, Rob. Couple things I want to share. I'm going to flip the screen back over again. Change it to, I know that table is better looking, and I'm going to let you look at the table for a minute, but I have a couple things I want to share and tell you guys. First, I wanted to tell you at this point how thankful I am. Hey, Jim Bob. Hey, Charlie. I wanted to tell you all how thankful I am that you guys tune in for me on Tuesday evenings, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Tennessee, and then, of course, 4 o'clock out mountain area, and then 3 o'clock in California. And then I see guys on here from Finland, the UK, Australia, different countries. Wow, what a blessing to get to see all you folks. I'm thankful that all of you tune in. But I wanted to tell you that, hey, Andrew, hey, Don, Jerry. It's good to see you guys coming in. Ninos, Erwin. Man, you haven't clocked out yet, Erwin. And Ricky. It's good seeing some cool names and some friends coming up here. Hey, Mark. Man, thank y'all so much. What a blessing it is to have you guys on here live with me. I wanted to share with you that that Jackie records. We record these. They're live right now. This is right now. Probably if I ask you a question and you answered in 30 seconds, you'd see how long it takes. Back before you were born, they sent a satellite in space. And it was called Telstar. It's the only one we knew about, and we send a lot of information back and forth. Hey, Lon and Kenny. So, Winder, Georgia, great. What my heck? We used to say, all right, let's see how long it would take for Telstar, so you could be talking to your friend in the next room, and you would say hello, and it would go to the satellite, from the satellite to the tower, and from the tower to the phone in the next room. Doesn't take long. But on this Facebook Live thing, it seems like when I ask you what time it is, wow, Australia, bam. So if I said, what time is it? And then I'm going to look at the clock. Let's see how many seconds it takes. Give me your current time now. Here we go. Do, 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh man, do do do. Atco. Here we go, Pat Laird. Come on, somebody give me the time. The clock's running. There you go. Oh man, that was 20 seconds. Thank you. Good. That was quick response. Thank you guys. 603-502. That's great stuff. Anyway, I wanted to tell you a little quick story. First, I want to tell you guys Jackie's beautiful daughter, Julie, who's married to Tyler Bennett, who's my he is my son-in-law. Sorry for me getting all mixed up. But anyway, the three of us went to Bristol to the first dirt race in 50 years that NASCAR had, and it was a great show. We enjoyed it. I don't know what it looked like on TV. I don't know what y'all saw, but man, what a great show. It was great. The weather was beautiful, and it was sold out as long as everybody had 6 feet around them. They gave everybody social distancing. So I don't know if Bristol now with the, hey, Rebecca, my cuz right there, if the, if they had reduced their seating to like 100,000, but there was probably 10 or 15,000 people in there, which looked like a pretty doggone good crowd. And they had them spread out all through the stadium. But it was a great show, and I was thankful to see that many people. I was glad to see motorsports moving the needle back in the positive direction. We all saw at the Gator Nationals how many people were there. We had a great Friday show at the Gators, had a great Saturday show, and a great Sunday show. And I am retired now, so I'm a spectator finally. Hey, Daryl. Hey, Jason, Scott. So I just wanted you guys to know that I'm not a pro anymore. I know what I know, but I'm not a pro, and I am a fan, and I'm a spectator. But let me tell you a little quick story about, this champion girl that we all watched grow up, Angel. She was one of my students at my drag racing school, and I got this. I'm gonna let this down. Jackie found this photo album we were unpacking, and I want to share with you a couple things. Here's a photo of her on the school bike. All right, this was in 96 or 1996. US 19 Dragway. We owned the school bike so we could take them and do what we wanted to with them. And we had a really cool show at US 19 where we had John Myers riding one and Angel riding one. And they took turns riding bikes. And it was a great show. And it was the first time people got to see Angel. And this was her own personal leathers, riding on a school bike. I know the colors didn't match good, but let me tell y'all something. She was a young'un. I think she was about 25 years old and really, really skinny. And we went to the local track to practice. And here she is meeting people. And I'm going to tell y'all something. She had so much fun. And we saw so much potential in her. And we had a good time for her learning how to do it and starting the racing. And then we had a local girl there, Jarrett Barnes, who was involved in the watermelon pageants all the time in Americas and in Georgia. Look at the watermelon. And helping her with some ideas on a photo shoot. And then this is a really cool shot. This is us at Atlanta Dragway after a national event, really cold day. And we were there practicing and testing. And she is on her own bike with her leathers, and she is practicing with it to try and get her license. Then here we are at Houston Dragway with John Myers. At the last race, he ran this motorcycle, which was going to be her bike next. And she was only a crew person or a spectator with us. She was like taking the starter cart around. And this was I recognize this at the drag strip, not Houston. Yeah, it might have been Houston. I think it was. Yes, it was. Baytown. And then here's one with the famous guy, Mark Pizer. He's a professional fisherman now. And they were just chilling at the racetrack. Here she is on that same bike that John Myers had just got through racing. We were actually building this bike for John when she came along, and she ended up getting this bike to where, look at there, we even covered up the name. This is at Silver Dollar Dragway in Georgia, where she's practicing. Here she is at Commerce Dragway, when her first Pro Star drag bike race, where she entered on her Top Gas bike in Top Gas. And she had to run the world champion, #1 plate holder, first round. And she outran him first round of her first round of competition. There she is doing the burnout there. She was number 2989. But anyway, that was some old history. And the reason I brought her up on it was because now she is now the Suzuki world record holder and the NHRA quickest bike going right now. I think she went 674 at Gainesville at 200 miles an hour on the Vance & Hines Suzuki with a Hayabusa body, and she did a really, really good job. And Jackie, we found some photo albums, got some really great stuff from people that raced with us for a long time, and I just wanted to share it with you. I get a lot of phone calls and emails and people asking me about how to adjust when they buy our camshaft. We sell some really cool camshafts for the Milwaukee 8s and the twin cams now. Now we have 3 grinds for the twin cam, and we have 3 grinds for the Milwaukee 8. I'm going to send out, this is another 20-second question. How is the sound level right now? Can you guys hear me okay? Hit me back and let me know if you can hear me okay. Sound check before I get real technical right here. Hey, Bobby. Hey, Lee. Hey, Babis. Rick. Hey, Rick Perry. Another champ. Roger. Hey, bruh. Good luck, Roger, on you having a great time and a great race coming up. Yep, thank you, Jim, Bob, and Aaron. Good. Thank you, John. I appreciate you guys with the feedback. Perfect. Woo, that's hard to do. One of my favorite words, often misused, though. Jerry, yuppers. Okay, here's a hydraulic lifter. I know it's just a crappy drawing of one. I just sketched it right quick, but it's got the roller wheel that goes in a Harley. Twin cam. I think they all use the same lifter now from like 99 till 2001, same part number, I think. And before I get into this story, please let me tell you again, this is my opinion. This is what I think I know. So if I say something wrong or you disagree with it, please understand the source. I am not the all-telling expert. I am just a guy that's been racing for over 40 years, and I tore up a lot of stuff. I was talking to a pro stock racer on the phone just a minute ago before we started, and he asked me how I knew the things I was telling him. I said, because of all the wrecks. And I don't mean a vehicle. I'm talking about engine parts. I'm talking about wrecks. This wrecking, these parts wrecking. These are all results. All this information is based on wrecks. Personally, like I may have not thought of something and tried it and it blew up. I may have thought of something and tried it and it blew up. And the 10 things I know are based on the 2,000 things I tore up. So quote me on that. Don't know everything, but this is what I think I know. If you look at your lifter in your Milwaukee 8, or you pull your push rods out and you take a pair of side cutters, this sounds dumb, and cut right here, cut the push rods out, pull them out. You can take adjustable push rods and shorten them up all the way down where this thread is and make them really short, and you can shoot them up in the head and put them down in the lifter, and then you can adjust them out to get the clearance you want. But let me tell you what your goal is, because somehow or another our industry of racers and engine assemblers is they got to know the count. They want to know how many turns, how many flats. Do you turn the push rod 2 turns? Do you turn it 1 turn? Do you turn it 16 flats, 15, 14, 32? None of that matters. That might be a way to get kind of in the ballpark of what you're doing, but your goal is to get in this travel limit here. And if you let all the oil out, if you took the circlip out of this lifter right here, and you took the lifter and turned it over on the table, and you tap it, and you knock the guts out for a minute, and clean the oil out and put it back together and let this little piston that's got the push rod seat goes in this lifter, and push it all the way down, you have found the bottom of the travel, and then the circlip that goes in the top, the circlip that goes in the top of this lifter. It's got a ring around the ID of the lifter perimeter. This little circlip stops this piston from coming out because it has a spring under it that tries to push it out. So what we do is we will take this and we will measure how much travel we have. That's with the piston all the way down and then all the way up against the circlip, like the dotted line. That's the piston all the way, the lifter piston. The lifter piston, as high as it will go, be up against the circlip. As far down as it will go, the lowest it will go will be in the bottom of the bore. So there's a travel number. And let's just make it easy for math. Let's call it a 100th thou travel, which is less than 1/8 of an inch. 1/8 of an inch is 125 thousandths travel. So I know that most all lifters have 125, have an 1/8 inch travel. Your goal is to set this piston 50% in this travel. That gives you a lot of room for your engine to get old, for your engine to be new, for you to have low oil pressure, high oil pressure, to have the engine cold and have lash, to have the engine hot and have lash. IS is watching, Jeff is watching, Bill, Steve Perry, Jason Booker. Hey, thank you all for paying attention and looking in. And stay with me long enough for me to tell you some of the stuff I know. I appreciate you guys cruising by. I see a lot of people come in here and they look, and then they keep cruising, and then they go right on by, and then they hang up. And that was like a flyby. You come in and look, and here you come, and then you look, and then you got on out of here. That's just a flyby. I like for you to come in at the beginning and hang on with me to the end on your cruising and your viewing back to the lifter and the push rod. So the lifter, when the engine gets hot, the cylinder gets longer, the cases get taller through thermal expansion. There's some rate, and there's a mechanical smart man watching right now. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but there's somebody that knows at every inch of aluminum how much that grows per 100 degrees, 10 degrees, whatever. But there is a number where the aluminum head gets taller, the aluminum cylinders get taller, the cases get taller, and that means that the rocker arms and the lifter get further apart. So on our Pro Stock engine, when we would set the lash at 0 cold, and we would switch the bike off at the finish line and jerk the valve covers off right quick and measure lash, we could be 15 to 20 thousandths lash with it scalding hot. That means that the engine cases, the cylinders, and the heads grew 15 to 20 thousandths taller and left the push rod in there loose. Clank, 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 even when we put it on 0 lash. So that's a solid lifter we ran. But in these hydraulics that are in your bike now, we need for it to have some bleed down room without crashing parts. We need for it to have some temperature change so we can keep this lash. So you want to run, you don't want any lash in it. You want the piston and the push rod and the lifter loaded all the time. And this 100 thou of travel from the bottom to the top gives us a lot of safety. So what we do is we find out with this lifter empty, the spring will hold this piston up against this circlip. And you can take this push rod and put it down in there, and you can make it longer and longer and longer until it touches but does not move the piston off the circlip. You can look down, where your lifter blocks go. You can look in there with a flashlight and you can see the top of your lifter. When you pull all 4 push rods out, you can look in and you can see the piston in the lifter, and you can see the circlip around the top of the lifter, and you can see the piston up against it. And you can take this push rod and you make it longer and longer and longer and longer and longer by screwing these threads out until it touches the push rod, touches the lifter, and then pushes it off the circlip. That is going the right direction. So when you get it all the way down to full travel, this is on the heel. And when I say that this is off of lift, you want to be the opposite of lift. Like when you got your cam at full lift, this push rod is going to go up and open the rocker arm and push the valve open. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But when you're setting the push rod length and you're setting the lash, you want the camshaft to be away from the lifter on the base circle, on the heel of the cam. Nothing to do with lift, nothing to do with how high it goes when it turns around and lifts this up. But this is how much clearance you have. And you're going to want preload on this push rod. You're going to want, if you have 100 thousandths travel, you're going to want 50 thou preload. So you want this piston to sit right in the middle. You want this much travel left, and you want this much travel below. So your goal is to get in the middle. Now, everybody's push rods has a different thread pitch. 32 thousandths per inch, 32 threads per inch, 18 threads per inch, 24 threads per inch. I don't know those numbers. That's not my business. I don't know how to do it. This doesn't matter to me. The only thing that matters to me is your travel. This number right here. Find out the travel in your lifter. So we have seen the HTGC, HTZ, something, they call them travel limiters. Jim sells them, S&S sells them, whoever sells them. And what they have is they have a washer. They put a washer or spacer down in the bottom of the bore to hold this piston up higher, and they cut your travel down from 100, they cut it down to 050, say. Now you want to make your push rod the length to fit 25 thou preload, so you have 25 thou below and 25 thou above if you only have 50 thou travel. Some lifters I've seen have 200 thou travel from all the way down to all the way up, and that's almost a quarter of an inch, but not quite. Quarter inch is 0.250. This is a quarter of an inch, 0.250, and 0.62 is a 16th of an inch, and 0.125 is an eighth of an inch. And I know that's just common stuff, but there you go. Anyway, your goal is to get in the middle of your travel. That's where you want to be, with the engine cold on the heel of the camshaft. Now, a couple other things that come through all the time. People call me up and they say, hey, George, I got a such and such a pipe, and I'm going to put these slip-ons on it, and I'm going to put these slip-ons, I'm going to put this XY pipe and this GP and this TC and all these different pipes. And they ask this question, do I need to get my bike tuned? Guys call me up and say, hey, man, if I put a 30-30 cam in my M8, do I have to get my bike tuned? If I put this air cleaner on, will I have to get my bike tuned? If I put wires on it, coils on it, will I have to get my bike tuned? Gas, race gas, like oxygenated or just high octane with lead or unleaded high octane. If you got all of those things and you want to know if you need to get your bike tuned, I would tell you don't change any of these parts, because if you do, you're getting in trouble. Because listen to me, George Bryce, Star Racing, all these years. If you make a change to your motorcycle and it doesn't require a retune, what did you change it for? Why did you change it? What was your goal? I don't understand what you were trying to achieve. Because if it doesn't need a retune, then it doesn't do anything. Listen, if you put a cam in and it doesn't change the power or the air fuel requirements or the timing requirements, you have done diddly. It doesn't make a difference. If you buy a pipe or you buy a cam or you buy an air cleaner, please want to get it tuned. Oh my gosh, I'm moving so much more air into my engine. I am trapping so much more air with my cam timing, the opening and closing events. And my exhaust pipe flows so much that all that air is coming out when the cam tells it to. And it's going to move so much more air and fuel through the engine that it's going to pick up 30 horsepower, 40 horsepower, and it's going to require a major retune, because it's not a closed loop system. It is an open loop system that is pre-programmed at the factory with the ECU. It's already got a flash in it. It's got narrow bands in the pipes when you buy a brand new one. It's got narrow bands in the pipes, and they only say yes or no, yes, no, yes, no. They don't say a little lean, a little rich. They just say, if it's showing lean, it goes like this, yes, 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 yes. If it's a little rich, it goes no, 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 no. It doesn't tell you how far. It just says yes or no. It's like a light switch. It's either on or it's off. It's not a dimmer switch. Hey, Graham. Hey, John. Products. This is something that is for sale to all you guys with the Milwaukee 8s, 107s, 114s, 117s. They all come with the same valves in them. They come with a 40 millimeter intake, and they are nice valves, but they have 3 grooves, which I've showed you time and time again, where it has 1, 2, 3, triple groove, and there's no room to clamp this valve. There's no room to clamp this valve to where it won't fall out or it won't drop a valve. So we use this billet steel machine top lock. It is a collet. It's supper time. That's why I'm shaking. Well, that's my excuse anyway. But it is clamping this valve tight from here down. And this keeper groove and this bead on this keeper is made to tell this where to be. It doesn't hold it in place. It just locates it. It says, this little keeper says, okay, where should I be? Where should I be? Where should I be? I should be right here. There's home. And it gives it home. Now, I don't know if you know what a collet is, but a collet is like a key on a drill chuck. Not a key, but the drill chuck, there's no teeth on a drill bit. It's just a smooth shaft like this, and your drill chuck clamps down on it and keeps the drill from spinning, and it keeps it from sliding in and out. That's how we do these. And we have these 8-degree titanium retainers made to our specs. It's got our little logo and our little part number. Forgive the shake. When I was younger, I didn't shake this bad. But these valves are 2.5 millimeters bigger, which that means 100 thou bigger in diameter. So therefore, we have the chance to flow a ton more air in and out of your engine. And you don't even need to know how much more it flows. It flows a lot. And this 8-degree keeper and 8-degree the lock and the 8-degree retainer are machined so perfectly that this snaps in place. If you ever take a Milwaukee 8 valve out and you take the triple groove and you take the little stamped steel retainers that come with it, this will not stay on here. As a matter of fact, it will sit on here and wobble because it's so loose. It will wobble like this. And it's very scary. This is a really nice fit. I had to snap them loose so that it is safer. It turns more RPM and lasts longer. And this is the same thing that they're using in racing engines, cup engines, endurance engines, where they have one groove top lock to make them last longer and hold in place and clamp the valve safely. If you've ever seen one drop a valve right through this keeper groove, that's because the keeper, this is a keeper, had the bead further down, and when it's further down, it moves this load from being here, located by the keepers. It moves it up here, and this retainer will do this until it breaks the valve off right through here. So we clamp it below the groove. We clamp it in this thick part of the shaft where it has the most strength. This is a spring we have PSI make for us. This is a bolt-in replacement for your Milwaukee 8. It's a polished silicone wire, made in America. These valves are made in America. They're not cheap. These retainers are made in America, and they're not cheap. These are billet steel retainers. Keepers, billet steel keepers. Billet titanium retainers. And we sell this as a kit for you and your tech to put in your engine. You're going to have valve grinding equipment, a SERTI machine, or you got to have a new one in order to cut out your heads for bigger valves. But these are parts that you need to make your Milwaukee 8 rev higher, make more power, and last longer. It's reliability and power. I'm going to flip back over to me, and I just want to finish up with y'all and tell y'all again, these parts are available to you. They're not, we don't have to have the heads. We don't have to do the work, but it is a service that we offer through V-Twin Power Sports. And Ron Reese, who worked at Star Racing for 30 years, 35 years, is the guy that does that work. Pretty overloaded, keeps several sets of heads to do. Like I said, it's not cheap, but it is available. And if you have an engine builder or a cylinder head man, we would love for him, this cylinder head man, so they can be Ward heads, they can be Jim Bob's heads, they can be all these other cool shops. Billet, Bullet, awesome. There's lots of guys out there who do some great cylinder heads, and they need to use titanium retainers with an 8-degree lock instead of a 7-degree lock. And they need to use a top groove. This is my opinion. They need to use a top lock so they can clamp below the keeper groove and make your stability and your strength. And these are 2.5 millimeter oversized, which is 100 thousandths oversized, which will allow you to make a lot more horsepower. We've got Milwaukee 8 engines that can drive around the street with valves that big and that strong that we can turn 7,000, 7,500 RPM and double the horsepower. You come in making 90 horsepower, that package with all those parts will make 180 horsepower. And I don't recommend you use anything that makes 180 horsepower to drive on the street because gasoline is very volatile, which it should be. But racing gasoline is a little bit easier to control the burn with timing and compression and cranking compression, which is another story another day. But anyway, thank y'all for watching. The time has run out. Tech Talk number 87 is in the books. I'm very thankful for you guys checking in and looking every week. Blessed by it. I hope everybody has fun at Hogs Gone Wild this weekend at Shady Side, North Carolina. Have fun. Roger, take care of them folks for us, and stay tuned because I'm going to share more stuff. And I just wanted you guys to Take care of each other. God bless. Good night.